So how strong is Shadow the Hedgehog from the Sonic series? And Shadow is one of my favorite characters. Not only is he fucking cool, he has a cool ass name, he has cool ass abilities, he has cool ass shoes. I don't know, man, it might just be glazed, but Shadow's just cool overall. Shadow's been stated multiple times in game and in multiple manuals that Shadow rivals Sonic in terms of everything. This relates to abilities and hacks as well, because Sonic can use Chaos Control, and Omega states that all of Sonic's abilities are natural, unlike Shadow, which would imply that Sonic can do everything that Shadow can, he just chooses not to. Even in terms of just pure speed, Shadow stated to rival Sonic multiple times in multiple guides, and even in the Shadow 05 guide, it stated that he has speed that can very much well surpass him. And with this being backed up in multiple separate continuities and multiple separate games, that Shadow and Sonic are equally relative. Whenever they clash or fight, it usually ends up being a draw or Sonic gets the upper hand on it. It's even shown that both Sonic and Shadow's growth rate is the same. We know this because Sonic usually clips his super form, since it's stated that he gets stronger within every second. This is blatantly shown and stated in Generations how Sonic clips Perfect Chaos and clips every other villain previously that he needed the super form for. This is even shown with Shadow, with him taking on Metal Overlord. With this in mind, Shadow should scale over people like Perfect Chaos and Metal Overlord, who were directly stated to absorb the 7 Chaos Summons, which stated to have infinite energy or infinite power, making them high uni in terms of base. Shadow should also scale over people like Eraser Jin and Merlina, who were directly affecting multiple universes and absorbing them, and was even going to create an infinite size construct or an infinite space-time continuum, meaning Shadow would be in the ranges of 4D or low multi in base, but he gets exponentially stronger throughout the series. Shadow in base should scale above the Time Eater via the fact that Infinite is stated to be the strongest villain thus far in Sonic Forces. We know the Time Eater had destroyed the entire Sonic cosmology, reducing it to nothing, making Shadow in base in the ranges of Complex Multiversal. If you haven't seen my Sonic skill, go ahead and check it out for context. You could also deduce that base Shadow would be stronger than his super self that fought Solaris alongside both Sonic and Silver, putting him in the higher ranges of Complex Multiversal in base now. Even in Post Forces, we directly see that Sonic and Shadow are still relative to one another. I don't know if Shadow scales to Sonic in Frontiers, but we could probably deduce so via the fact that they're equally relative. But Shadow, in terms of scaling, would just scale in the ranges of Complex Multiversal with dimensional speed, not adding on a super form, which is obviously an exponential increase in terms of power. As for abilities, we know Shadow is heavily reliant on Chaos Control, which is the ability to control both time and space freely and warp it effectively, which Shadow would probably scale to via how Chaos Energy is intertwined with his body. But with this, I've successfully scaled the Hedgehog trio.